Blake Shoemaker.
Yes,
Through some
sir.
troubles we've had already, we're here, my friend. Welcome to Chat 10 Sports, everybody.
Uh, it's certainly October. Because as we were just discussing in the pre-show, we think the stream is haunted.
Yeah.
Losing feeds for no reason, not being able to hear each other. We're being haunted by ghosts. In
That
keeping
we
with
are.
October.
That we are. This has been an absolute journey.
Mhm.
Yeah, trying to get cheered out about 2 seconds. This is hot right now. You know, we're trying to do all the good things. We're trying to get our support system going. My Wi-Fi is being weird. I've only got like a little bit of fairly good. We're just going with it tonight, man. Let it ride. It's kind of like the Titans in the second half.
Whatever happens, happens. Again, like the Titans in the second half. So
yeah, you know, sometimes we're going to try to be the opposite. We're going to start off a little shaky and then bring it in the stuff. That we need to do. And that's what we're going to talk about today. It's going to be a lot of NFL, a lot of Titans. Vols were off this last weekend. We might touch on something fun when it comes to college football. But overall weekend, great Titans watch party. Good to be back at Parkway. It was so wonderful outside.
Perfect. Oh. Just couldn't ask for a better day weather-wise and turnout-wise. It was great.
Yeah. And speaking of that, we will get to our Chat 10 top 3 favorite things about fall. Got some interesting takes. I'm really ready for it because it's really gathered that here lately. I'll tell you what, man, I'm stoked. I love this. I love this season. I know we talked about it last week about the potential of losing mowing season, but it's okay. We're gonna make it through. Let's start it out strong here. Feels good to beat the Colts 4 in a row.
Man.
What's your initial thoughts?
Who would have thought? Again, like it seems like every game this year, you go through the first half, you're feeling great. You get to that halftime point and you're just fun zone, just not a care in the world. And then second half comes along and you're like, oh my gosh, I've seen this movie before. And
yeah,
you often don't like the way it ends. Not all negatives to take away. It is unfathomable. I can't speak. Let me try that again. Unfathomable how we are getting so poorly, so badly outscored in the second half. Like it's not sustainable. Like we've been fortunate to come away with the 2 wins that we have. Maybe not so lucky against a greater opponent, but I don't know, man. I don't know what changes. I mean, I wouldn't think that we're getting adjusted on that much and not being able to adapt. It's almost like we just take our foot off the gas. I mean, what's your take on it?
Yeah, it's weird because it looked like the Titans just took the game into their hands and shut down Jonathan Taylor. Especially with a run defense, you don't expect to do that, to be honest. It's proven time and time again this season. If you want to have a good day, be a running back. And I was a little again because, okay, figured it out. 24 points in the first half. As we spoke about last Thursday and last Monday also, Downing did a really good job, especially on the first drive, but also even later, executing, had some good play calls. We'll get to that fourth quarter at the end, but you just don't understand how they go from being this absolutely potent offense in the first half, which had 215 yards on 32 plays in the first half. In the second half, they had 20 yards on 20 plays. That's atrocious, man.
Like it's hard to do that. Like even if you were trying to do that, that's really difficult to do.
Yeah, and I understand one guy called back. There's a couple things happened, but dang, man, you can't come out that flat. Flat against not a great Colts team. Missing some guys. People got hurt. It's just, I don't understand, man. I don't understand. Like, is there anything that you're seeing that what happens? What happens in the second half, Blake?
Well, I'll say this. So again, it's not all bad. It's not. But it really seemed like when Matt Ryan started to get more time in the pocket, I mean, he had horrendous numbers in that first half. And from the moment that Bud Dupree re-injured his hip, gathering in that fumble, You don't have that threat to get to the quarterback again. They're able to spread their resources around. And from that point forward, I mean, Matt Ryan threw for almost 400 yards. I mean, I know he's capable, but
Yeah.
I've seen statues with more mobility. And to give him that much time, he's going to make some throws here and there. So it seemed like when we weren't able to get as much pressure, and I think you and I were discussing during the watch party, it's almost as though I know that Landry, we definitely miss him on the pass rush, but we miss him in coverage too.
Yeah.
Because it seems like nobody on our team currently can cover a shallow cross. So, I mean, because they kept running it over and over and over again, and we thought it was going to get away. But we said last week the difference in this game was going to be in who took the game over between the two running backs, Derrick Henry or Jonathan Taylor. Jonathan Taylor, 20 carries, 42 yards. And he has to come out of the game with an injury late in the game. I think they said it was ankle related. So it remains to be seen, does he miss time? What's the story there? Meanwhile, Derrick Henry, 114 yards and a touchdown. He had over 100 total yards before we even got to the halftime break. And again, that stat, whenever he has 25 or more touches, Tennessee improves to 25-1 whenever he has at least 25 touches in the game. So it definitely came down to what running back takes the game over. And like you said, I mean, we're not used to seeing this with our run defense being able to successfully stop, but I think they sold out on it because they knew if they did not stop Jonathan Taylor, they had no chance in this game. So they said, we're gonna take that weapon away from you, and if Matt Ryan beats us, so be it. And he nearly did. But I think it was a sound strategy going in, and I think they executed it fairly well, except for taking their foot off the gas in the second half.
Yeah. Again, second half plagues this Titans team, but the dominance in the first half. I don't want to go full negative here. I mean, Derrick had such a good day. He continues to look stronger and faster. Those first two games, you felt like he had a lack of explosiveness, and everybody's like, maybe. The line has really picked up. I know there was some things missed. NFT, he was just having a tough day at times. He missed a few things, but overall, I thought this line was pretty solid. There was obviously, it's not perfect. It's a crew that's not the most talented, but they're doing all right. They're doing good things. I thought Tannehill looked pretty strong again in that first half.
I mean, the numbers weren't awesome, but they were efficient.
Another thing we talked about, if he's in that, I'll even wide it out. If he's at 175 to 250 range in yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks, and he's 18 for 24. It's like me, you, and Brandon were talking about sitting there. It's just he just has to be super efficient. And to go reiterate on that stat, man, when you get Derrick Henry the ball, it obviously plays in the way the Titans want to play. And they got creative. They got some of those screens back again. Bobby Tree's got his first touchdown as a Titan. Everything just worked out. The
first receiving touchdown of the year for any player on the team.
That's incredible, man. That's incredible. And hang tight to that comment. We're going to talk about Treylon here in a little bit. And don't want to, just because that guy got injured doesn't mean he's a bust. So, but anyways, I really think that Todd Downing may actually be one of the best script writers when it comes to that, especially in the first quarter. I mean, the first drive efficiency is incredible. 4 straight games where they've come out and scored a touchdown, and it's looked great. You're like, oh wow,
my gosh.
There they go.
I just thought of the perfect analogy. Todd Downing is the M. Night Shyamalan of the NFL. Starts out great, but the ending,
just set him up, man. That's a
just
good
perfect.
One. I don't know.
I mean, we had some breakout performances. I mean, Danico Autry, revenge game of sorts. I mean, 2 sacks and a forced fumble. Great there. It's so funny. We went off air last week, and I was like, oh my gosh, we didn't talk about picking up Joe Schobert.
Yep.
And he had a forced fumble in this game as well. So immediately making an impact. But I'll tell you what, I think the person who impressed me more than any is going to be Dylan Cole. Dylan Cole was all over the place at linebacker. I mean, 8 total tackles, 5 solo tackles, 1 tackle for a loss. I'm very impressed with a thin linebacker core that he was able to come in out of nowhere and really perform at that level.
Yep.
Led the defense in the number of tackles. McCreary and Long both had 7 apiece. I mean, great performances there. But Schobert's right there with 6 tackles as well.
Yeah.
So, I mean, had some people step up on defense when they had to. Bend, don't break for sure.
Yeah, because that defense really came up and was again, and people were like, are they also playing bad in the second half? It's really hard when your offense is not giving you any time. It's really hard to be a good defense when you're not having any sort of success. And it's hurting the momentum. Momentum's everything in football. It's something that's going to carry over to both sides. Most of the time, defense really well. As you mentioned, though, when Bud Dupree went out, you can see a huge difference. There is not a lot of depth on this Titans roster at most positions, to be honest. There's a few spots, but when Bud's gone, Landry gone, I'm so glad Weaver had another good game. He forced those 3 fumbles. It's nice to have guys come in like that, but damn, man, you got to figure out something with this roster. Sometimes you're like, how do so many people, and we're going to get a little bit more into the injury stuff, but how do so many people get hurt on this freaking roster? And I know last year was COVID stuff, but also you had a lot of injuries too. Continue to pile up and pile up and pile up. Like, damn, man, what else are we going to do here? So I don't know. That's always the thing for me, but I do want to get back to Henry. We'll have the first one. Did this give the king his throne back amongst the national media to be probably the best running back in the NFL?
He's definitely back. I don't know that he was ever really gone. I mean, he was not the same after the injury sustained in the Colts game last year. Even in the playoffs, after all the time time away, coming back into the game, he still clearly wasn't 100%. And we had our doubts to start the year. Like you said, we didn't see the explosiveness. We didn't see the breakaways, but man, all we heard coming into this game was how great the Colts rush defense was and how they were the 3rd best and they hadn't allowed a rusher of like over 60 some odd yards or something like that. And here comes Henry. And it was so funny because normally I'm not a fan of them swinging it out to him because historically, his hands aren't the best and he had a couple of drops here and there. But if you get him the ball behind the line and you're out on the edge, heaven help you trying to tackle him. And it was really fun to watch once they got him rolling. So I think it was really good to see. I think it's great that even as competitive they are and within the same division, that he and Jonathan Taylor have a tremendous amount of respect for each other. I mean, you saw them trading jerseys after the game, taking pictures and everything like that. So I think they kind of feed off of each other. Henry heard the doubts coming into this game, and he definitely silenced the critics.
Yeah, because he really, really wanted that game, and he would have had another touchdown if it wasn't for a very flaky hold call. That was, as we talked about,
still looking for that hold. I'm still looking for that hold.
That was a big time anticipation call, and that's all it was because he thought he was going to hold him longer. That's the only way I could justify that for that official, because there is no way that was, because he had the freedom. He wasn't going to catch him. It was one of those deals where, I mean, he didn't have to hold him. He got outside, and there was no reason for them to call that. But, you're going to get that in Indianapolis, which hope the Hagers and
except on the home team. Except on the home team, because I kept seeing egregious offensive holding, and Jonathan Taylor cannot block without holding somebody. And
he cannot.
Been called every time, and it wasn't. So
they definitely missed some stuff yesterday. I think that was the greatest officiating career of all time. But Titans came out with the dub. I don't know. Did you see the comment post game about the second half stuff?
I missed that
from Vrabel. I was reading Rexrod's article today on the Titans, and he was talking about, I guess Vrabel was very short whenever it came. He's in a tough interview probably for some of those guys after a while.
Oh yeah, sure.
And so I guess he was asked about the inefficiency in the second half, and he goes, he cuts him off in mid sentence, mid question, if you will, and he was like, what's a division win, something along those lines. Like, come on, Braves, like, we're just not even going to address it. You're going to try to do that whole thing, and I understand he wants to win, but damn, man, not to go back to it again, but Vrabel's got to just be tough to be, as a beat writer or anything along those lines. He's got to be tough, right?
I mean, well established that Vrabel like wants to be Bill Belichick so bad. Like it's a recurring
So bad.
theme. Like I have to be super serious. I have to be super shady about releasing information. I don't want to talk about injuries. You know, I mean, it's fine. I mean, it's worked these past few years, so I'm not going to complain about it. After so much
No.
time in mediocrity and anonymity, to have the Titans be a contender again. I mean, I give him a pretty long leash, probably longer than most. I mean, I
Long
still
leash.
see morons all the time on Twitter like, "Oh, Vrabel, he's the problem." No, he's not. He's really
No.
not.
He's the reason. You know? He's the reason
Strength and
this
conditioning, you could definitely make the argument, as this seems to be an issue every single year, but who knows?
Yeah, that's the hard part is you don't know relationships. You don't know. I mean, it just feels weird that there be this many incidents without there being some sort of problem, some sort of mishap, or I understand. I know what that turf does. Turf's gotten a couple guys this year. And we'll go ahead and bring up Traylon Burks.
Mhm.
That hurts, man. I understand he is not just tearing it up 24/7. I understand that. But he is a body that this Titans team really, really, really needs.
Certainly.
Because how many guys do we have on this roster? You're like, that guy, you're gonna play you're playing Sunday, you're starting? Really? Yeah, that's how I feel. We're gonna have to go pick up Cody Hollister,
Yeah,
double
Hollister out there,
coverage.
all these for those who didn't pay
Herndon.
attention, the first touchdown pass of the game when Bobby Trees was wide open, the camera pans out and Cody Hollister is literally double covered. And it's like, do they know who Cody Hollister is? Have they ever seen him
Do they know?
before? Do they know? I have no problem with them double covering him. Have at it, but we'll see how
Yeah.
it works out.
We'll see how it works out. Let's get to Gavin's question here. Is it too early to say Traylon Burks is a bust? Blake?
Absolutely. Way too early.
Yeah.
And the reason being is if you look at the number of targets, he's not receiving a lot of targets, and the targets he is receiving, he's not making a lot of drops or a lot of mistakes. I am concerned with the injury that he sustained the other day. They're calling it turf toe. And that can be trouble. And you'll notice I'm still wearing my scrubs from today. So I'm going to put on my doctor's hat for a minute. A lot of people, we've all heard the term turf toe, but a lot of people don't know exactly what it is. And all it is it's a sprain of the main joint in the big toe. So if you bend the toe back too far, or if you bend it back too forcefully, it basically sprains that joint. And the only way for it to heal is in very severe cases. Sometimes you have surgery involved. And in this case, they said there's no surgery required. But the other is it just has to be rest. And on average, with a turf toe injury, if you have a normal recovery timetable, you're looking at 3 to 6 weeks. So Titans haven't made a move yet to move him to the IR, which would put him out for at least 4 weeks. So I have a feeling what they're probably going to do is just play a wait and see approach, see how he does. And then if they need to put him on the IR on the back end, then so be it. But he's so integral to this offense that if he ends up being fine, you don't want to make the call at this point, and then he can't return for 4 weeks. So I know those turf toe injuries can be very nagging, and it just got to be taken care of properly. I mean, what do you think?
Yeah, it's way, way too early, because he's gotten a chance to have the ball in his hands. He's looked really damn good.
Physical.
So very physical, fast. I mean, a lot of what you really wanted out of him. You thought what you thought. I just hope that people don't take this into consideration, because the turf toe, especially up there in Indianapolis, it's gotten us back to years with somebody prominent on this team. But man, it hurts, man. It really hurts. And you knew Burke still had a ways to go. I will say, when you watch the Arkansas offense, it's got some talent. It's all, especially last year. You really watch these guys play. KJ got all. It was electric, but most of the time it was just very out athlete, be pretty damn good compared to your corners, to be honest. System's really well designed for him, but he doesn't have to do a humongous route tree. I think the Titans have a very different offense for him. As much as you want to get into it, Vrabel really, really, really wants to be Bill Belichick, and it's simple. It's small ball. It's small ball in football, basically, and it's tough to come by if you want to be like a big play receiver. Sometimes it may happen, but we're not seeing those deep shots anymore. I don't know where they went. I guess they are down in Atlanta for the Falcons. The Cover Kings, baby. The only team in the NFL that has been 4-0 against the spread are your Atlanta Falcons.
Isn't that amazing?
So, isn't that amazing? So I'm happy. I'm happy for the guys down there. Peas and Art. I mean, I'll be honest, like it's cool to watch, especially being here in Chattanooga. Like it's just fantastic to have kind of two great programs when it comes to football right now. I mean, they're not the greatest teams, but they're fun fan bases. I'll say that. Like especially here now. I mean, this Saturday or last Sunday was awesome. Hanging out with the peeps, getting the Colts win. I just worry about how this Titans team can hang on, especially with this stretch coming up. I know they got the Commanders this week. How long do you think the turf toe, if let's say it's pretty bad, like how long does that keep you out, do you think?
I mean, standard timetable is 3 to 6 weeks, but in severe cases, I mean, based on what I know, I mean, it could be as many as 12 weeks or so. But, it just depends on the severity and how well they're able to take care of it and not overexert. But most of the cases are going to be 3 to 6 weeks. But again, it can go longer because, I mean, we've seen people where it's nagged them for entire seasons. They finally break down and have surgery in the off season. When I saw the injury, when I saw him go down, I was afraid it was way worse. I was afraid it was an ankle, a knee, something like that, because it looked really bad. So the fact that they're reporting that it's turf toe makes me feel a little bit better. I mean, if I have to pick an injury, that's the greatest chance of being able to come back full speed within the shortest timetable.
Because it looked a little bit worse when you.
Oh, it did. It did, because you saw him. They started to come out to replace him, and he waved him off, and then he tried to run his next route, and just wasn't happening. So
your heart sinks a little bit when you see somebody try to do that. You're like, okay, man, you should have got off the field there, which kind of hurts. But
injury timeout for a thing.
Injury timeouts are a damn thing, man. You gotta take them. I don't know. I worry about. I hope the best for Traylon. I hope that's a short one. And God bless youth. I swear you can bounce back a lot faster when you're 22 years old. So good luck to Traylon. I think he's going to be all right, but don't come back too soon. Don't do the Tua thing, but
no.
Yeah, let's hang out for a little while and get healthy, because there's about to be a monster stretch coming up here soon. Weeks through, was it 13? It's going to be scary. So gonna need a fully healthy as we can get roster.
And don't play down to your competition, because if they come out against Washington,
oh my gosh,
flat,
if this team's, because it's the most Titans thing ever to go out here and lose to this Washington Commanders team, because they look bad. They have looked bad the last 2 weeks, and I just can't say enough. I thought Carson, that first game, come out, beat the Jags. You thinking, okay, maybe not so bad. They could, that's a pretty bad division. I mean, to be honest. So you're thinking, they'll float around. No, it's been the worst team in football the last 2 weeks. Yikes. So Tennessee has to come out and absolutely, that should be a confidence booster game. That's going to play your air quotes cupcake. Go out there, figure your stuff out, really get after old Carson. And that man might be that could be Ron Rivera gets fired after that one game, to be honest. That could be a tough one. He is moving up the first coach fired. So
I don't know. The Colts are pretty mad at Reich.
Yeah. So let me ask you then. Okay.
There was a lot. Now, hey, there were people, our friends were there, and my friend who's a Colts fan was there, and they said the boos were raining down by the end of the game. So
right now, just in your perception, the odds are right now it'd be Ron Rivera. These are your top 3 coaches, are probably the first to get fired. Okay. Ron Rivera, Frank Reich, Matt Rule in Carolina. Who would you fire first if they lose this next week?
I think Rivera has a longer leash, honestly. Gosh, it's tough to pick between the other one. I would lean towards Rule. because of just how it doesn't seem like there's any hope of like improvement or generally moving in the right direction. So I would say Rule would be my first choice, but Reich can't be too far behind. I mean,
No.
the Colts are not used to this. Like they have been spoiled in the Peyton Manning, Andrew Luck era, and they are just not used to having seasons that start like this. To come out and do all this, and for Irsay to come out and make all these statements about how they're going to change things and this and that, and it just not happening for them. But they're 1-5 in their last 6 games. They're 0-2-1 in the division. Like, I know the Colts, they always find a way back into this, but I don't know, man. 0-2-1 in the division and 1 out of your last 6. I mean, this could really be it for them.
That's cool. That's the crazy thing about it, because they really believe Frank was going to be the guy. And you bring in somebody like Carson, you're like, oh, he can bring back. He almost made him MVP. And then you're like, well, Matt Ryan, he's good. He can be something. And the Titans kind of made him look that way. These are 2 quarterbacks. I mean, especially with Matt, you're looking at a very, very tail end of a really good career. Probably Hall of Famer. But dang, man, when you don't have a great offensive line for him right now, it's going to be tough. And Carson, dude. Frank did it way harder on himself to get these 2 back-to-back quarterbacks. If you want your career to die, go for it. That was the worst part about the Titans fan base on Twitter, was the fact they were sending Ryan Tannehill to Indy after the first 2 games, which makes you really sad. I don't want to do that to Tanny. I would never do that to you, buddy. So, but yeah, to stick with the NFL overview, who do you think had the best win yesterday?
I mean, Chiefs over the Bucks was pretty impressive, coming off of a loss to the Colts after how bad the Colts looked yesterday. A lot of people didn't give the Chiefs a fair shake in that game, said that the Bucks defense would be too much for them, especially playing in Tampa Bay. I was really impressed with what they were able to do. My goodness. So we have to just completely invent new adjectives for their quarterback.
It's not fair.
What is Mahomes doing? Like he's a video game. He has a cheat code. I mean, some of these plays he's making, especially around the goal line, like no business scoring or completing. That was ridiculous. Like absolutely ridiculous.
Like and it's like he gets better every game, don't you think?
Mm-hmm. Seems like it.
It's incredible to like the stuff he does. We've all seen the sidearms. But he invents something new every week. The one where he was wrapped up, getting pulled down. He was wearing a defender, and he does that little flip to Juju to get that first down. You're like, there's 2 guys in the league that could do that. I mean, like, no offense to Tom, he probably can't do that. Maybe it's like somebody, I don't know, just get creative. I'm sure Josh, but there's not many guys that can be that creative and that strong and that accurate. It's incredible.
I mean, Lamar had some moments yesterday too.
Lamar, and that was another thing, is there were really, I thought, three contenders who best went yesterday. I think the Chiefs was one. I think my number one, actually, weirdly enough, I think it was the Philadelphia Eagles. And they fought through some adversity. The Jags come out. There's a lot of Jags money line bettors out there that were just soaking that bad boy. And here comes freaking Jalen Hurts and that offense. And unfortunately, AJ Brown cooking up some sauce, man. Philly fans loved it. They really got after Trevor. He looked pretty pedestrian yesterday. And Philly fought through some adversity for the first time, like really getting after. Maybe actually a hot team to the start. They're the kind of team that comes out on you 14-0. They don't get down early, but they turn the gas on later, which is a good flip of the switch, just to know that you have that in your back pocket. Like, oh, Jalen can fight through, like after a pick 6. That's good to know. And they've got talent all over that field. So I think Philly was number 2. And then number 3 was Buffalo. I mean, the Ravens came out on them.
They did.
Well,
They had to
And
fight
then-
back into it.
and they had to fight back into it. And it comes from, and that was a matchup you probably wanted more of. We weren't watching that game at the time. That was one of those we were kind of keeping up with on the side. But go back, listen to some guys. It is a big win for Josh Allen and them to come back on the Ravens and kind of shut them out in the second half. Oh, that's another one, Hugh. Good call.
That's
The
a good
Raiders finally getting their first win, baby. They got
point.
their
No
first
more,
win.
no more winless teams in the NFL.
No. Did you get back home to see the Packers and the Patriots game? I don't know if you came back and watched that. Did you
Which
watch
one?
any of that?
You cut
The
out
Packers
just a
and
little bit.
Oh, the Packers and the Patriots.
Oh, yeah. So that one was a topsy-turvy battle. I mean, they had to kick a field goal as time ran out in OT.
Yeah.
So that was closer than I thought it would be. And then you've got, the Patriots now on their third string quarterback. I mean, who had the Patriots third string quarterback as the first rookie QB to throw a touchdown pass this year? Anybody? No, nobody.
Oh, I
did.
didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was something to behold.
Well, okay. Well, there we go. Yeah. So those were probably the 4 best wins yesterday. Russ is not very good out in Denver.
No.
That's tough to watch. I just can't believe they're that bad. Just to be honest, like watching it, like Russ is just so far away from what he used to be. Whew, that's a $250 million not well spent. Hope maybe that's a balanced situation. They can turn and they get it figured out. Who knows? But dang, they got a long ways to go, brother.
You know who else we're
Long ways to
forgetting?
go.
The Jets beat the Steelers.
Yeah, but the Jets, they look great, dude.
But you know how funny that is? Have you forgotten how much we hate the Steelers? Like
We
how
do,
much
yeah.
fun that is?
We do hate the Steelers. I will
The
say
Jets, man.
But Kenny Pickett comes out and gets 2 rushing touchdowns after throwing a pick 6.
Mhm.
So
That bouncing back from adversity.
bouncing back from adversity. I will say that was one of those we were keeping up on the phone with, and the Jets come back and win, and you have Zach Wilson leading a championship winning drive basically to beat the Steelers, which was another pick I had yesterday. Shout out to Jets money line. Felt good when get that W. Yeah, so it was just that was a good NFL day. I wished I would have had like 3 TVs going on extra around play at the same time.
Oh, for sure.
Good multi-TV day. Really good multi-TV day. But we got the benefit. Shout out to phones. God bless YouTube TV. I can snag it anytime I want.
It's true.
Fun to fun. All right. We're going to finish it out here. We're going our top 3 things love about all. We're going to be basic bitches here, baby. Let's do it.
If you're gonna
All right,
go all out, right?
Exactly. All right, Blake, I'm going to give you the first pick, and then I'll say Trey's and then mine.
Okay, so we just opened it up. We didn't set any ground rules for this or whatever. We just said favorite things about fall, which to me encompasses anything that happens during the fall months. And so for me, my first pick was a no-brainer for me. It's Thanksgiving, man. Thanksgiving, hands down, best food holiday. I mean, you've got family, you've got amazing food, and you've got football, man, just going on all over the place. So, I mean, I know Christmas obviously is going to be the favorite holiday of most people, but for food purposes, give me Thanksgiving all day, every day. And I'm a guy who does not mind leftovers, and we normally get to host Thanksgiving at my house. So I get stuck with most of the leftovers, and I will eat it until they have to treat me with an IV for food poisoning. Man, I'm all about it. So Thanksgiving, absolutely number 1 for me.
Huge number 1. Trey's number 1, which I do like this one a lot, and it is a staple amongst the community of people in the fall. That's bonfires. Gotta love a good bonfire. That man, he's gonna be picking and singing on our front porch come Saturday. And so, man likes community. You like guitar. There's a friend you have out there that loves a bonfire and bringing his guitar to sing out. And I'll say it just fits the mold for Mr. Trey Wynn. It really does.
It really does. It's very on brand.
Yes. My number 1 and it's by far. And I had a whole entire box Saturday night. Unabashedly ate 2 snack cakes on the way home, and they are fall cakes. And not only just fall cakes.
Ooh.
These are not your zebra cake wannabes. These are the real deal. These are the chocolate layering outside, vanilla cake, chocolate icing. So you're just wonderful. It's basically a chocolate cake. It is
Okay.
the best. It's my favorite part, and I'm gonna eat an ungodly amount of calories in Little Debbie in the next couple of weeks. And I can't wait because they only bring these back because they used to be also in the Christmas cakes, but those are no longer. They just
Yeah.
they just save them for fall. So this is all I got.
I think
So
it's supply chain stuff, just like everybody else.
brutal. It's brutal. But shout out to McKee family. They're gonna be hooked. All right. What is your number 2?
So number 2, I got to say the weather, man, especially here in Chattanooga in this area. We have finally gotten away from blistering hot, and we're not into freezing cold just yet. I mean, this whole week it's going to be like low 70s and no rain chance, and like very low humidity. I don't know how you can get much better. I did something for the first time this past weekend, and I don't know that I told you at the watch party. I went to Rock City. I've never been to Rock City before. Like, I just moved here a couple of years ago. I've never been. So went to Rock City, had an absolute blast up there, and it couldn't have been a better day. Got some great food on the way up the mountain. Really enjoyed the time there. Got some great pictures. I mean, they had some live music going, and they had like a German food festival going on. And I mean, it was nice. It was really, really nice. So this is the time of year. I don't know how long that window will stay open for the weather to not be too hot or too cold, but I am enjoying it right now.
These like this month, like I really think, honestly, it might be like that last week of September to maybe the third week of October is like the best 4-week period. You know, that gets a little chilly. You know, you have to wear layers, bro. But I'm gonna roll off that with Trey's second pick because you guys had some discrepancy here. He's gonna take fall scenery, and there is nothing better because I know our boy, and our boy loves a good long drive, listen to some tunes. And when you're going up any mountain, shout out to this wonderful, wonderful part of this country that we live in. When you drive up any mountain, it's all scenery at its finest. Changing the colors, it's awesome. Got some good tunes on. Usually, if I know our boy, he's got some staples and he's got something going. Gets that Tennessee vibe going. It's great stuff. So if I know one thing, our boy loves his fall scenery. My second pick. When you're in the fall weather and you're in the fall scenery, you need a good set of flannel.
Ooh,
And
okay.
flannel season is here, baby. So when I gain this weight, I wear the big flannel at the top, and it covers up any of the extra that might be popping in the stomach area.
That's smart, man.
Listen, I'm not but a few little things in my back pocket. So gotta have that. Gotta have the flannel season. Got some really good ones coming in here. All right.
Yeah, got some good
I do
stuff.
like Gavin's. I do like Gavin's a lot here. That first opening weekend, everybody 0-0. It's so true. It's our year. You get those week 1 wins. Florida, they're going to the national championship. We're going to the national championship. And boy, how's that train falling off the wagon? Oh, that train has fallen off them tracks, baby. Hugh, great stuff. The sports overload, which we're fixing to get to. So go ahead and use that. What's your number 3?
Yeah. Number 3 is sports everywhere. And I mean, I know we have sports going on at any given time of the year, but think about right now. We have college football, jockeying for position. We have the NFL, starting to figure out who the contenders and the pretenders are. You've got hockey just about to start off. You've got NASCAR playoffs going on right now. Anything and everything. If you are interested in it, it is available for you. I mean, heck, we're entering the postseason for MLB, the chase for the World Series again. So, I mean, everything happening all at once and kind of, culminating in that. Yes, sir. By the way, if you haven't looked at the score tonight, don't.
How bad is it?
It's pretty bad. We're losing pretty badly to the Marlins right now. But no, if you love sports, I'm with you, Hugh. I didn't want to make it my number 1 because there's so much else as far as like the Thanksgiving food being a one time a year thing. And then the weather, especially here in the South. I mean, it's like you blink and it's gone from blistering hot to freezing cold, but I'm with you on the sports thing.
Yeah. It's probably, the sports atmosphere right now is also as college basketball. You're going to get that rolled into the very, very end. It doesn't really become that good, to be honest. Like, you're going to play some cupcake games. You might get one or two. But yeah, this like MLB playoffs, hockey, college, and NFL. It's great, man. It's great. I'm going to take Hughes number 2. He also open windows.
That's strong.
Combo that with his lower utility bills. I do love being able to, like, right now, your boy's working from home. So I let the dog out. I can just leave my doors open in the back door, leave the screen door open. If he needs me, he gives me a bark. That's all I need. Just leave him outside and roam, kind of a door by himself now. He's a wily veteran, so we're great. So just leave the doors open, leave the creaky old door open in the back, and it's a beautiful time of the year. Just basically turn the AC off. To roll off that also. Hoodie, I was going to say hoodie season, but I do love the flannel game. I'm new to flannel game. You're just riding that train here lately. But Gavin, definitely hoodie season. Pile up on the couch. Probably I've gone to be like a no shirt under the hoodie guy when I'm chillaxing at home, sometimes out and about in public. I ain't scared. So yeah, also just got that alert on my phone. The Braves lost 4-0 tonight. So shout out to that momentum.
To the Marlins. To the Marlins.
Yeah. Thanks. But Gavin, to also touch on your point here, my third favorite part about fall, that's porch coffee. Going out on a Saturday morning for game day, taking that hot cup of Joe, just to be able to enjoy. I don't know if you saw my video last night. I've been taking the TV out front patio. I've been watching game day or watching Sunday Night Football. It's become a tradition for me and my girlfriend now. So this is great. Just bring the cup of Joe out there and enjoying that. So bingo, I'm with you, Gavin. Hot cup of coffee on the porch.
Oh, and you didn't get Trey's third round.
I'm going there here right now. We didn't put anything else beside. Thanksgiving, I guess. I will say that. But as far as the beverage goes, there is nothing better than apple cider in the fall.
It's pretty good.
I got to give it to him. That was a sneaky pick because I did not. As far as the beverage goes, what's your fall beverage? You can associate something hot, but hot apple cider and just the good old jug of apple cider too. Oh, it's so good. So thought we got some good picks. I'll have a pick posted tomorrow. You guys can decide who had the best list.
I'll tell you, hey, this is a trade secret because we know I'm the guy with the whiskey collection back here. If you can find Jack Daniel's Winter Jack, have you ever had Winter Jack before?
I sure have.
Mix Winter Jack with hot apple cider.
Ooh.
Yes.
Ooh, that is fall AF.
Let me tell you, you combine that with a bonfire. Yeah, it's you can't. That's an unbeatable combination. But no, we discovered the Winter Jack and apple cider combo a couple years ago, and it is a staple at the wintertime.
Well, there's your Chat 10 tip of the day. Bingo. Blake
Find the Winter Jack though, because it normally sells out in a week.
Yeah, they're quick, man. I will say that was one of those I had no idea. Man, it's like a line at the Johnson City store for this, and I was like, oh shit, okay. But yeah, well, all the podcast things, like and subscribe, follow us at our names below. I'm at MC Green 423. You can find Mr. Blake Shoemaker where I can't talk right now.
That's okay. It's a haunted stream, man. Anything goes. You can find me on Twitter at Blake the RX guy. And like we said last week, if you're here in Chattanooga, you're looking for a place to watch the game, we have the best watch party here in the city. And we're changing it up again a little bit this week. We're going to be at Five Wits Brewing Company, which is on Main Street here, just right across the street, close to where the feed is. We had one there earlier this year. It was a blast. It was a great indoor-outdoor space with really good food, really good drinks. But we're going to change it up again, especially since the weather's so nice. Why not be outside? So
why not, dude? Yeah, this weekend's going to be beautiful, beautiful, beautiful fall weather. So, as always, my friend, I appreciate you. We'll see you on Thursday. Love
it. Tighten up.